Hi everyone, it's so exciting to see so many people interested in 24/7. It's something we're passionate about at Google. So thanks for coming, thanks for the hosts. When we were preparing for this, I said you've got all these amazing speakers, there's going to be nothing left for me to say, and I've been proven right. So I'm going to skip through some of these slides, but I'm going to talk to you a bit about our journey. So I'm Adam, I lead our sustainability work for Europe, Middle East and Africa. It's just worth saying, when we think about sustainability at Google, we have three focus areas. The first two are really about how do we build solutions using AI and other technology to enable everyone else on their sustainability journey. Equally though, just as important is how do we make sure we're driving sustainability into our own operations. I'm going to focus on that aspect today, but lots of solutions we're doing, particularly in the clean energy space in terms of enabling the broader transition. We've been on the sustainability journey for a long time. We're in our third decade of climate action. We have an overarching net zero goal, aiming to be net zero by 2030. That requires a 50% reduction on our 2019 baseline. That involves us basically driving down our scope 1, 2 emissions, which is where 24/7 comes in. It then involves us obviously driving emissions down in our supply chain, scope 3, and then we're looking at carbon removals to neutralise the remainder. But today, again, real focus on that clean energy transition. Now, we started this journey a long time ago. We actually signed one of the very first big corporate PPAs back in 2010. And you can see our energy growth has grown year on year, and that's because as the world transitions over to cloud computing to power a global economy, we need to put in that infrastructure. But actually, our growth of clean energy has kept pace. And actually, for the last 7 years, on a global annual basis, we've been buying enough clean electricity to match our use. But as been well articulated today, that's just not good enough. And again, it's been well covered, but when you do it on a global annual basis, that doesn't mean the times you're operating, you're sourcing that clean energy locally at the time that you're using it. And that's what we're all striving for. That's the goal of 24/7. We're making some good progress. So our last reported year is 2023, so 64% of our global energy use already matches 24/7. You can see the greener, the dot there is how close our data centres are in terms of towards that goal. We've got 10 data centres already at or above 90%. Actually, 6 of those are in Europe. But there are parts of the world where it's more challenging, particularly in Asia and other parts of the world, and that's why there's still a lot of work to be done here. What I would say is, we're very passionate about this. We think it's the right thing to do. There's also a lot of research out there that backs up why this is so important. I've put some here from Princeton, from TU Berlin, from the IEA. Well worth having a look at these. Really talking about the importance of 24/7 helping to drive a real mix of technologies into the grid, which is so important. You've heard about that today. How it helps to bring down overall costs and how it helps to deliver overall value to the grid. So there's a lot of research that really backs up why this is the right thing to do. Now, when we think about this, 3 particular areas for us around measure, optimise and procure. There's a sort of underpin around policy, but I'm not going to touch too much on that today. So measurement, really important. You've heard about that today. And actually at Google, we build a lot of technology, but we rely on so many other technology providers, data providers and solution providers, including many in this room, to help us on this journey. So we really need to get that clarity around when our consumption is, when energy is being generated, what time of the day that is, what are the grid emissions. So we need all of these things so we can really analyse where we are and where we need to go. And you've already seen maps like this already, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But it's actually that granular information we really need to set our strategy, focus on where we put our efforts, and think about how we're going to make progress on our goal. And electricity maps are a key partner of ours that help us do this. But it's important to say this is not just about shifting towards our 24/7 goal. It's also thinking about how we can help the grid more broadly. We use AI to do that, and so whether that's thinking about demand response or what we call load shifting. So actually we have, if you think about demand response, and this was particularly important, particularly in the energy crisis, where grids were reaching out to us and say, look, we're at capacity, can you help us out here? And we're able to use the data and our technology to shift jobs around so we can really support the grids. But actually what's really exciting, and I've spoken a lot about sort of clean energy, and we buy a lot of clean energy. We 25 terawatt hours last year, we did 4 gigawatts worth of new capacity. But actually what's really important is we make best use of the clean energy that's already on the grid. And we have an AI solution that does that. And so what it really looks at, taking data from electricity maps and other providers, is actually what clean energy is available at what times of the day. Our AI solution looks at what jobs do we need to run as Google, and then we think about where we can shift those jobs around. We don't just think about it in terms of times of the day, there's also a location piece as well. So where in the world is this clean energy being produced? So we can again shift it around to different data centers around the world. Now we also provide this solution through to our cloud customers. So if you're a cloud customer on Google, you can come in and you can choose what regions, what grids you want to operate on, so that you can choose, if you've got ambitious sustainability goals, you can choose those lowest grids as well. So we want to make this information and this capability available to everyone. Now again, we also need to think about innovative ways of structuring deals. In the US, we've done a number of what we call clean energy transition tariffs. Actually, historically you've come along and you've said we're going to sign a big power purchase agreement for, whatever it may be, and then hope the grids can deal with that. We know grids are really challenging, and so how do we work closely with the grid operators to structure deals where we can bring in this new clean energy, particularly new clean firm energy, in a way that really works for their grids, which really works for the planning, and also make sure that we bear the cost of that rather than other people on the network. So we're really thoughtful about the deal structures to enable this transition. We also, in the same vein, need different types of sort of power purchase agreements. So we have CFE management models. So rather than just going out and buying, as I say, a wind turbine or a solar array, we're really thoughtful about the deals that bring together a number of different types of clean energy, so that actually those deals can be structured to meet our 24/7 goals, but again, also help others. Because there'll be times of the day when we need clean energy, when others don't, and vice versa. So again, it's sort of bundling things together in a more innovative way. And we also need new types of energy. So wind and solar, hugely important. We invest every year in gigawatts worth of new capacity. We will continue to do so. But clean firm energy is also really important. We've been very heavily invested in recent years in terms of advanced geothermal, particularly with Fervo. And in fact, our first plant went live earlier this year. You'll have probably seen as well, we've been focused on SMRs in terms of nuclear. We've done our first SMR deal in the US with Kairos, 500 megawatts of SMRs that will be coming on in future years. Again, we need a whole toolbox worth of solutions here. So again, I don't want anyone to go away thinking wind and solar aren't important and other technologies. We need a whole toolbox here. So we continue to focus on those. As already been mentioned, there's all sorts of groups, communities, organisations working on this. This is hugely important. We're a member of or have helped support many of these. We've always said if we get to 2030, which is our goal, and we're the only company that's achieved 24/7, then quite frankly we failed, because there's a much bigger issue here. So that's why I'm so excited to see so many of you here, because we do need a whole community, everybody really shifting towards this.